Hi, I'm Kat, and this is today's tarot. First off, I'd like to say happy new moon. We are having a really interesting new moon this time around because not only is the moon conjunct the sun, which means we aren't seeing any reflection of the sun on the moon's surface, being a new moon or a dark moon, we also have a conjunction in that space with the planet Mars, and retrograde Mercury is also moving into that space. So because Mars and the sun are in conjunction, we're seeing a new cycle in whatever area Libra is in our chart, because this new moon cycle is happening in the sign of Libra. So you may hear the sound of a horse in the background because I live next to a farm and there are a couple of horses that graze on the pasture right beside my house, and they're pretty close. So every once in a while you'll hear them. Let's go ahead and start with the energy of today. The opening card that we have for today is the Tower card. So there's some uncompromisable change in some area of our life that is showing up today. And keep in mind that this card, the Tower card, is related to the planet of Mars. And Mars has a warrior type of energy. It's an energy that sees what needs to be done in a specific area of our life, and it feels called forward to act in a sense of motivation and willfulness from within. So there's some change or some realization that we're coming to in our life that shows us where we have to change, and we don't have any ability to avoid it in this space, in this time of our lives. And keep in mind that if you look at your natal chart, Libra is going to be falling into a specific house in your chart, which means that you'll be feeling this call to action in this area of life. Now, the challenge that we have for today is the Two of Wands. So whereas pure fire energy is the Ace of Wands, is that sense of carrying a staff up the mountain in a very specific direction, we have this Two of Wands energy. And so it's telling me that there's some aspect to our life that feels as if it's pulled in two different directions. Like, it's the call of the wild card. So we feel pulled towards a direction, a new direction in our life, and something that we want to act on. And yet we also have this wand that is bolted to the wall behind us, which is telling that there is some aspect or part of our life that we still need to take care of before we can really go off on this new adventure. So that is the challenge that we're facing today, is that there are some things that we still do need to consider and take care of before we can really move forward and in full motion in our path. And this, I think, is related to that Mercury in retrograde energy. So we're feeling, like we aren't feeling a total sense of clarity. There's some things that we need to take care of. We need to look at the details of things. And so we have to slow down. We can't go directly into that direction right away. But as Mercury moves out of retrograde here just beyond mid-October, we'll feel as if we can actually move forward again, and we have a sense of clarity and focus in that mercurial sense in that new direction in our life. Now, we also need to consider that the way to get through this challenge is this energy of the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles is a card that is asking us to look through circumstances and situations that may seem bleak or hard at first, and to look through them for the gold within that experience and within that circumstance. Like, what did we see that was truly of value? What did it do to call us forward into interacting with our higher sense of self and a new aspect of ourselves, and feel as if we get to refine a new part of our nature, because this is all about how we value things. And that's what we need to do when we're considering which path we want to move forward in life, is what do we value ultimately? Like, is it primarily focused and centered around financial matters? Is it centered around value systems? Is it centered around material security, taking care of the body? What is it that we value? And this is asking us to really take a look at which direction we want to go with that, because it is a number 5 card, and in numerology it has that V or fork in the road kind of energy. So it's asking us to reconsider our value system. Now, the overall outcome for today is this Death card. Now, this is a card that's ruled by Scorpio, which is governed by not only Mars, but also Pluto. Now, something also interesting about today is that Pluto is moving out of retrograde. So during the month of October, we're actually going to see a number of planets move out of retrograde that have been in retrograde positioning for the last few months. So over the course of the last few months, we've felt, you know, as if we couldn't really make progress in certain directions in our life, or like we were at a standstill of some sort. And this is an energy that is starting to move in a forward motion. And so we're starting to see this area that was stagnant, you know, which is that area of our natal chart that is in the area of Capricorn, that Pluto has been sitting in for 8 years, but it's been in retrograde for a number of months, and it's now moving out of retrograde. So we're starting to see some shifts in that area of transformation in our life, and it's forcing us and causing us to take recognition of things that we need to let go of that are no longer useful for us, that will bring about the most ultimate transformation in our lives. And in that way, this Death card, which is related to Pluto and related to new beginnings, is bringing us to that awareness, in that there are some things that we are transitioning away from, some things that we're growing toward, and we need to let go of some things in order to actually grasp a hold of those new directions that we're moving forward in life. And ultimately, that depends on our value system and our life path, which is the sun sign that Pluto has been sitting in, which is in the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn is that area of not only social order and global order, which is where we had this big conjunction last January of 2020, which is what started stirring all of this change in the world, because we had 5 planets in the area of Capricorn. But right now, all of those other planets have moved off out of that sign, out of Capricorn, except for the planet of Pluto, which is ultimately wrapping up this grand transformation that's happening not only globally and socially, but also in our own personal lives. So this is the tarot and astrology reading, a snapshot of the day, courtesy of my cards. It's really interesting to see how the different planets show up in the daily readings, and I hope it encourages you to take a look at your natal chart. I will be making a video on YouTube that will be discussing how this current Mars sun transit is going to be affecting you personally, depending on your sun sign, and we'll be walking through each sun sign. We'll be walking through each rising sign, because it'll be affecting you differently depending on your rising sign, and we'll be talking about that. So it'll be helpful for you to have your natal chart so you know what your rising sign is, and I'll explain that further in that video. I hope to have it uploaded by tomorrow. So if you have any questions about anything that I spoke about today, or having your own chart read, feel free to comment below or reach out to me at rootsofalchemy@gmail.com. Bye for now.